Alright, let me drop some jewels. My name is Adam U. Stewart, also known as Malcolm Lovejoy. And all I'm trying to do is live my purpose. And my purpose is to manifest love on planet Earth and everywhere else in the universe that my energy happens to travel and journey. So, if you see this video, I hope I inspire love in you. I hope I inspire truth in you. And I hope I show you something that you've never seen or heard. Or show you something that you have seen and heard, but just in a slightly new way. So, I want to talk about race. I mean, there's so much to say, but I can't say everything. You gotta leave out some stuff. So, you talk to me again tomorrow and in the future and that. Anyways, I'm saying all this to say, this February, and like February's for the last at least 6 or 7 years, maybe even more, maybe since, I don't know, 15 years. Black History Month feels strange. It feels like a necessary and beautiful, but also kind of rote and routine tribute to sometimes the most typically celebrated and well-known figures in Black history. And then some people have just gotten sick of it. Some people are bored. I don't give a fuck if this offends you. I really don't. I love you too much to care about holding back my truth. So I see the way society responds every February. I'm 40 years old. Like, I've seen 40 Black History. Well, no, I've probably seen 28 or 9 Black History Months. I wasn't that aware when I was young. But the point is, I've seen the impact on culture and various cultures change over the years. I see how Black people respond to Black History Month. I see how Europeans respond to Black History Month. I see how South Asians and Asians and Aboriginals respond or ignore the general social conversation and information and education around Black History Month. I see some white people not give a flying fuck and not pick up a book and not read an article and not join a conversation or not do nothing except for just avoid what everybody else is kind of paying attention to for the month of February. So there's a certain level of progress with Black History Month, but there's also a certain level of stagnation. Like, some people are like, oh, it's Black History Month again. Time to trot out Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and a couple cliche token statements and whatever. And they never really analyze how far racial progress has come in the Western world, or etc., etc. They just pay very basic token lip service and then can't wait for March 1st to come around. So people stop paying attention to Black issues. So this Black History Month is different. Yes! Marvel. You gotta get a shout out. Shout out to Marvel. Shout out to Stan Lee. Yo, man, I don't give a fuck if Stan Lee's white. Stan Lee was smart enough in 1966 to make the smartest superhero in the Marvel Universe a Black man from an unconquered nation in Africa. So, he was thinking that way in 1966. And, it still has relevance today. I'm glad Stan Lee is alive to see how much Black Panther has impacted the world and how it is actually the biggest debut of a superhero movie ever. A superhero movie that wasn't a sequel. I think it's the top 5 opening of all time in movie history. But, so, Black Panther just made history. I saw it 4 times in the theater on the first weekend. It was phenomenal. Made almost $200 million. And made over $200 million in the 4-day run. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's amazing. So, a bunch of people in the world just saw Blackness and African power and truth and beauty and wisdom and strength and innovation and Afrofuturism on a level that has never been celebrated. Ever. Period. White people have never celebrated Black culture on this level. Black people have never seen an investment in Black history and Black ideas on this level, and other cultures have never been invited to look at a black man in such a profoundly inspiring way. I mean, there's been a few instances, and shout out to all the superhero movies of the past, Blade and etc., Hancock, etc. We don't need to go down the list, but the point is, often the point of those not having the resonance and impact is that Blade and Hancock and Meteor Man and all of those things, they were directed by white movie directors and often had white script writers with them. So it's like, yes, they are black superheroes. Shout out to Catwoman, Storm. Mad shout out to Storm. Big up. Like, X-Men had a black woman superhero, but the words in her mouth, who wrote those? The ideas and her motivations and her inspirations in the movie, where do those ideas come from? That's the question. So Black Panther has made unprecedented history because never in Hollywood history, Hollywood's been around for what, 130 or so years or whatever, 120 years, whatever, something, give or take. Never has there been a $200 million investment in a black superhero concept with a black director and black women cinematographers and an all-black cast primarily and all-black everythings. This is magnificent. All African everything. This is what it is. Because I don't believe in race. That's the point of what I'm trying to say here. The term black is troublesome, but we use it because we have lost so much from slavery. The enslavement of the African by the European has taken away so much from us that these hierarchical values have been assigned to everything in life, and we're still unlearning them and deconstructing them and pulling them apart, and we shall continue to do so for the next few hundred years. See, technically my hair is black, but my skin, what does my skin look like? It looks brown, brownish, chocolate-ish. So technically I'm not black. I'm just categorized as black. I'm put in black categories. But I'm not black. I'm not from a country called Blackland or Blackania or Blackistan. No. I was born in Toronto, Canada. My parents are two Jamaican immigrants, and the culture that they were taught from is imported from people that were born in Africa. So we're Africans, period. The point that I'd like to start getting into and start reading from this book, because it's Black History Month, is this book, Stamped from the Beginning, The Definitive History of Racial Ideas in America. The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America. Because everything starts with ideas. You know, ideas. What ideas do you have? What ideas are you searching for? What ideas dominate your behavior? These are good things to know. One idea that dominates my perception of the universe and my comprehension of life and my interactions with all human beings is that there is no such thing as race. The slave master, the European slave master, came up with the concept of race. Well, not the first person, but let's just place a lot of the problematic and destructive and vicious repercussions of the idea of race upon the shoulders of the European slave master. I have no problem doing that. If you do, you tell me who's caused more damage than the slave master to the African. I'll wait. I won't really wait. I'll be gone. Because I already fucking know the answer. Anyways, so digressions, emotional digressions. So the European slave master is responsible for the concept of race, more so than anybody in the last 500 years in North America or so, give or take. Well, like the planet Earth, but also in North America and the Western civilization, because race really fucks up South America as well. But I've never been to South America. I just hear that racism is fucking horrible in Brazil, and I do know for a fact that brown-skinned and people of color and darker complexions in South America are disproportionately impoverished and live in favelas and are just, I just know that it's fucking bad, and that some of the most vicious murder capitals in the world are in South America, and who probably gets killed more often than others: women, people of color, and fucking, you know, non-binary folks and such. Anyways, why did that all happen? Because the European white male privileged cisgendered heteropatriarchal heteronormative fucking man felt like he was God. Felt like God is white because the Bible says so, and everything that's not white is less than godly, less than worth respect, or less than me. So this has been the core of the problems that have been fucking up planet Earth for the last 500 years in my brain. That's just how I see it. So the European man is like, I'm of pure blood race. White people are the most beautiful, the smartest, the most powerful, the most everything. We're the best, and everybody else gets the scraps. Black people, I don't even see them as humans. They're 3/5 of a man. Women, shut the fuck up. We don't even listen to you. Women are incapable of intellectual anything. Intellectualism, period. Like, it's insane and astounding how disrespectful racism, sexism, and classism has been to everybody except the white man for the last 500 years. So, with this in mind, I'd like to begin my premise about how much I don't believe in race and how much I don't believe in anything except way of life. Because we're all energy. Energy has to move, breathe, express, and grow, and shrink and die and destroy and rebuild and find more. Such is life. None of us are alone on this planet, and when we interact with each other, we're going to have to share. We're going to have to speak. We're going to have to move. We're going to have to connect. We're going to have to do things. But when various energies interact with each other and find each other, what do these energies think about each other? Do they think, I am more valuable than you? I am less valuable than you? I am equal to you? I deserve more than you? I deserve less than you? I am capable of more than you? These are unconscious realities that govern the connections that we all have with each other. And realistically, if you are in the category of people that is considered white, it's like a VIP privilege club. It's totally just a VIP club, whiteness. And if you're white, it's just subconsciously it's unspoken, it's unverbalized. But if you are considered white in North America, that just means here's your ticket to more, here's your ticket to better, here's your ticket to higher. There you go. You get more. You just get more. You period. Primarily, I know there are some white people who are poor, but it's not the majority of them. It's just not a fact. So don't talk like there's more poor white people than there are rich and affluent white people. There is way more middle class and sustaining economic balance white people than there are impoverished white people. I read something in the Uproxx review of Black Panther that was maybe the most brilliant, succinct definition of the concept of race that I've read in a long time. And it said, race was basically an idea that came along to justify the exclusion of other people from various levels of privilege and and property ownership in life. Actually, it also said, like, it added on, race was an idea that basically justified the hoarding and theft of resources from one group of people to another. Period. It's just, that's all it was. X race can't have these things because Y race has it. Period. That's all it is. And it just doesn't... the races were interchangeable, but as far as resources have unfolded in the last few centuries, look at the resource allocation and the economic distribution and the justice distribution that has been offered to African people as opposed to European people. If you don't know, the mean medium income for households in North America is, white people have, like, what, 17 times the economic value and worth that black people have. White families have 17 times more than what black families have in general, on average. Just the typical. 17 times more. How do you quantify? That's like, you have one planet and your neighbor has 17 planets. Can you comprehend that level of imbalance? This is what we're living inside right now. You look around your city, your world, your society, where you live right now. This is the reality that we're existing inside. This is what white privilege is. White men having 17 times more, if not 17,000, if not 17 million. Jeff Bezos of Amazon, what is his fucking net worth? What was it? Fucking $17 billion? Was it that? What it was? I don't know. Or it wasn't 17 billion. He's a billionaire. Is he a billionaire? I don't know. It's just a disproportionately insane amount of money. I don't know too many black people that are multi-millionaires. There's maybe three or four. Bob Johnston, BT, Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z and Beyonce, Puff Daddy. It was like 3 or 4. I'm not aware of too many other black multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires edging on billionaire. But I know the Forbes 500. I'm just off the top of my head. I'm just throw out there. 450 of those men are white men. I know of one Mexican multimillionaire. I know of a few Asian ones. I've heard of one South Asian one or two. There's probably a couple more, but I haven't done more research there. But I've just general understanding of economics around the world. I know who is primarily hoarding most of the wealth. It's white people. It's Europeans. It's just a fact. And money translates into power, and power translates into control, and control translates into domination. So who has dominated the planet? Europeans, through economic enslavement. So let me just get into this book. This is what I think. This is what I learned. This is what I see. If you have other information for me that would educate me deeper, better, or higher, please share it with me. I love to learn. And these aren't judgments. I'm simply making observations. If any of my observations are incorrect, please enlighten me further. Because it just looks like white people have stolen most of the money and wealth and land and the resources of the earth. It looks like they disproportionately control and hoard and manipulate everything from currency to distribution to justice to opportunities for other people of color to approach economic parity. So here we are in this book. This book is amazing. Stamped from the beginning. Stamped, check that out. Check that title out. Stamped from the beginning. This is what I'm talking about. As soon as you're called black, as soon as you're considered white, boom! Your whole history, your whole life, everything changed. Your whole path determined. Definitive history of racist ideas in America. Let me just drop a couple jewels and then get back to life. Racist ideas have done their job on us. We have had a hard time recognizing that racial discrimination is the sole cause of racial disparities in this country and in the world at large. I write "we" for a reason. This brother is an African American studying historian and has been tutored in egalitarian spaces, but he says, I held racist notions of black inferiority before researching and writing this book. Racist ideas are ideas. Anyone can produce them and consume them, and anyone can unlearn them. Anyone, whites, Latinas, Latinos, blacks, Asians, Native Americans, anyone can express the idea that black people are inferior and that something is wrong with black people. Blacks, sorry, anyone can believe both racist and anti-racist ideas, that certain things are wrong with black people and that other things are equal. Fooled by racist ideas, I did not fully realize that the only thing wrong with black people is that we think that there's something wrong with black people. I did not fully realize that the only thing extraordinary about white people is that they think there's something extraordinary about white people. I'm not saying all individuals who happen to identify as black or white or Latino, Latina, Asian, or Native American are equal in all ways. I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with people, black people, as a group or with any other racial group. There's nothing wrong with anybody. Nobody. That is what it truly means to think as an anti-racist. To think there is nothing wrong with black people, to think that racial groups are equal. And that maybe that there is no racism. There's just human groups. I added that. It is safe to think there are lazy and unwise and harmful people of African ancestry. There are lazy and unwise and harmful individuals of European ancestry. There are industrious and wise and harmless individuals of European ancestry. There are industrious and wise and harmless individuals of African ancestry. But no racial group has ever had a monopoly on any type of human trait or gene. Not now and not ever. Under our different looking hair and skin, doctors cannot tell the difference between our brains, our bodies, or the blood that runs through our veins. All cultures, in their behavioral differences, are on the same level. Black Americans' history of oppression has made black opportunities, not black people, inferior. Let me just say that again because it's so fucking awesome. Black Americans' history of oppression has made black opportunities, not black people, inferior. When you truly believe that racial groups are equal, then you also believe that racial disparities must be the result of racial discrimination. Committed to this anti-racist idea of group equality, I was able to self-critique, discover, and shed the racist ideas that I had consumed over my lifetime, while I uncovered and exposed the racist ideas that others have produced over the lifetime of America. I know that readers truly committed to racial equality will join me on this journey of interrogating and shedding our racist ideas. But if there was anything I've learned during my research, is that the principal producers and defenders of racist ideas will not join us. And no logic, or fact, or history book can change them. Because logic and fact and scholarships have little to do with why they are expressing racist ideas in the first place. Stemmed from the beginnings about those closed-minded, cunning, captivating. I'm going to just say this and end this for now because this is a sick... This is a sick note to end the chapter of a book on. The book, Steps from the Beginning, is about these closed-minded, cunning, captivating producers of racist ideas. But this book and this wisdom and this love is not for them. My open mind was liberated in writing this story. I am hoping that other open minds can be liberated in reading this story. This is what the book looks like. Ibram X. Kendi. Phenomenal. So that's what I'm saying. Race is an illusion. Race is a lie. Race is a myth. Race is a social construct manufactured by a capitalist, white supremacist, heteropatriarchal society. There's no such thing as race. What there is culture and way of life. Because I'm not going to say the people in Jamaica are living and thinking and breathing and dancing and eating and fucking and spending money the same way people are in Moscow or in Australia or in Nunavut or in Brooklyn. No. Different cultures, different ways of life, different environments, different energies, different languages. We're all of the same human race, though, last time I checked. So, this is where I come from. And this is where Malcolm X came from at the end of his life, before motherfucking Nation of Islam took him out. Fuck you, Nation of Islam. Well, I've forgiven you, but I haven't forgotten you. But have I forgiven them? Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But I haven't forgotten. Anyways. This is why Malcolm Lovejoy will make love to anybody. Anybody. Asian, European, African, South Asian, Aboriginal, First Nation. I don't. If we connect, we connect. So, yeah. That's about it. If you've listened to all 27 minutes of this, I commend you. And I hope it has enriched your soul and life. And I hope you're happy and that you're making love. And I really hope that, in the powerful, eternal words of our brother Martin Luther King, judge not a human being on the color of their skin, but judge them upon the content of their character. That's what I do. I love you. Malcolm Lovejoy is out. Peace.